Greetings class, welcome to Mr. Marashani Online Lessons. Today we are working on history and today we are going to talk about the views of the big three. Alright, we are working on European history. So I want you to listen to me right this minute. If you have your notebook, make sure you have it so that you can write notes as I am going to explain the views of the big three. Trust me, this is an interesting section. All right, the views of the big three. Do you know that the First World War, it ended in 1918? After the end of the First World War, my European countries vakagara pasi vakati ngatiranganei kuti tiprevent the coming of another war. Ndopa vakagara musangano wavo wainzi iwo the Paris Peace Conference. Saka vagara musangano wainzi the Paris Peace Conference vakaugarira munyika yeFrance. Saka vari muParis Peace Conference panga pana atinoti ma big three kana kuti ma great powers akanga aripo aiona kuti musangano wafamba zvakanaka, vaipa muono, vaipawo ma opinions avo, ndo vatiri kuda kutaura nezvavo anonzi ma views of the big three. So vagara pamusangano paParis Peace Conference. Not every country was allowed to talk and not every country was allowed to contribute or to give their own opinions, but kwa kune three countries dzakanga dzichipa ma opinions out. So we're going to talk about the view of each and every country, or the perspective or the opinion of each and every country. Let me list those countries down. All right. We have three countries vainyanya kupa muono wavo, vainyanya kucontributa kana kuti vakanyanya kucontributa pane zvakaitika paParis Peace Conference. Those countries include number one, France. Number two, we have Britain. Number three, we have the USA. Right. So when we are talking about the views of the big three, we are talking about the view of France, we are talking about the view of Britain, we are talking about the view of USA. Saka kuti papira hondo vakaona kuti hondo haina kunaka, vanhu vakavafa, more than 13 million people died because of the First World War. So these great powers, that is France, Britain and USA, they settle down in Paris so that they can discuss about how to prevent the coming of another war. Why? Because vangavaona how deadly a world war is. Saka vakagara pasi muParis ndobva kuti todiniko kuti tidzivirire the coming of another war, the coming of the Second World War. Ndobva vakatanga kupa miono yavo, ndo atiri kuti ma opinions or my views of the big three at the Paris Peace Conference. Another way vanogona kushandisa all the views of the big three, vanogona kushandisa word inonzi iro the perspectives, zvichingoreva kuti the opinion of the big three. Let's talk about those opinions. So this country, France, yakanga yakamirwa nemurume ainzi Georges Clemenceau. He was nicknamed the Tiger during that time. I don't know why he was nicknamed the Tiger, but rumoza kuti Georges Clemenceau ndiye akanga akamirira nyika yeFrance. So this guy ainzi Georges Clemenceau, he was the master of ceremony. That is number one thing that you must know. During the Paris Peace Conference, Georges Clemenceau of France was the master of ceremony. So at any given time, he was tuning the discussion according to his own favor. So ukatarisa manje the history of France and the history of Germany, even before the outbreak of the First World War, their relationship was sour, their relationship was bad, it was not good. Why it was not good? Because of this war yakati 1870 to to 1871, if I am not mistaken. Here is here the Franco-Prussian War. Saka kunonzi pahondo iyanzi the Franco-Prussian War. France yakarohwa zvakanyanya nePrussia. It was Prussia but no German. German during that time yainzi Prussia. So the war between France and Germany yakaitika in 1870 up to 1871. Yakakonzeresa the sour relationship between France and Germany. Yakaramba ichidevelopa year by year until zvazokonzeresa the outbreak of the First World War. Saka kunonzi, as a result of this war called the Franco-Prussian War, kunonzi France was defeated, and as a result, France it lost her important territories. That is Alsace and Lorraine. So these two important territories, they were very, very rich in what? In minerals. They were very rich in coal and oil. Right. Sakayaluza Alsace and Lorraine. France yakatanga kuvengana ne Germany from that kushikira. Hondo yatanga kushikira patanga. Zvekutoti mamma historians antoti. After the outbreak, or after the end of the Franco-Prussian War, France, in seeking revenge to Germany, she went on and planned the Plan 17 as a way of revenging her defeat that took place in 1870 up to 1871, and also as a way of regaining these two lost territories, that is Alsace and Lorraine. But unfortunately, haina kuzokwanisa kuimplement that Plan 17. Saka mugore ra 1919, France yakawana an opportunity to punish Germany, an opportunity to revenge, because ndiyo yakanga iri master of ceremony. The conference was held on her own country. Kurati yakaitwa munyika ya France. So listen to me on this one. Right. Muono Clemens Wawakudichi, number one, he wanted Germany to be the weakest economically, the weakest politically, the weakest in terms of military. So in other words, George Clemens, because of the opportunity that he got at the Paris Peace Conference, he wanted to see Germany suffer. He wanted Germany to be the weakest and the most useless country in Europe. Ndio ambao muono wake. Iye Clemens akati kuna territory eda atakatoriwa during the Franco-Prussian War in Alsace and Lorraine. Saka number 2 muono wake waite Alsace and Lorraine, it must return back to France because haisi ya Germany. Are you listening to me? Another opinion yanga in France, IT Germany must pay reparations, must pay reparations in form of money, including loss of human life. I like another scholar who said France wanted Germany to pay for all the damages that took place during the First World War, including loss of human life. My question is, how Germany was going to pay for the loss of human life? You know what? George Clemens of France, he was seeking revenge. The Versailles Treaty was as a result of a revenge. The Versailles Treaty was birthed by revenge. Do you agree? Yes, it was birthed by revenge. If you listen to this gentleman, George Clemens, the way he's actually listing down his opinions, those points, they are emanating from bitterness. They are emanating from the point or from the aim of revenge. Right? From there, France ngaimbobvira yaita masoja, ngaimbomira zvekuita army, ngaimbomira zvekuwedzera masoja. Ndobva yataura futi iye George Clemenceau, ndobva ataura futi kuti Germany inofana kumira kumanufacture heavy weapons. Germany must stop manufacturing heavy weapons. One more muono wa Georges Clemenceau. What do you think about the opinion of Georges Clemenceau of France? Was his aims coming from revenge, coming from bitterness? Of course. Let's look at USA. USA was represented by a gentleman called Woodrow Wilson. I like this gentleman. Right? So, uyu amakamirwa nainzi Wilson. Ainzi Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson. He was representing USA. This one man anonzi Woodrow Wilson. He was, let me just say, he was an idealist. Yes, he was an idealist. And he saw himself as the prophet of peace. I like this gentleman. He was an idealist and he saw himself as the prophet of peace. I don't inini mapoints andotaura ndo anovaka. Inini mapoints andichareza ndo acha prevent the coming of the Second World War. Saka aiva an idealist and he was somebody who comes up with ideas, and I carry solutions. My views, they carry solutions. My views, they can help you to prevent the coming of another war. So that is what IDG will 14 points. Woodrow Wilson's 14 points. But before that, I got out, yes, Alsace and Lorraine by 14 points. But of course, I'm not going to say them, I'm not going to list them in order. So he said, we must end secret agreements. Kana tikamira secret agreement. Kana tikamira anozima secret agreements. Woodrow Wilson aiti zvaibatsira kuti to prevent the coming of another war. Door number 1. Number 2, ndobva ati Alsace zvakataura kuti na Georges Clemenceau of France, ndobva ati Alsace and Lorraine, it must return back to France. Ndobva ataura futi kuti panofanira kunge pane freedom of the sea for all the countries. Akataura mapoints akawanda Woodrow Wilson akati kana muchida kuprevent the coming of another war, mira ma secret agreements sezvamaita kusystem of alliance muchisaina ma-agreements secretly, because akanati izvozvo ndo zvaincrease tension suspicious in Europe. Saka ndikati mira izvozvo akataura Lorraine ngaidzokere back to France kuitira kuti tension yanga iripo, hostility yanga iripo between Germany and France ireducike. Ndobva ati panofanira kunge pane freedom of the sea among all the European countries. Ndobva ataura kuti tofana kustopa drug trafficking, tofana kustopa slave labor. Ndobva ataura also about the announcement of the independence of Poland. Ndobva ataura also restoration of Belgium's neutrality. Akataura zvinhu zvakawanda murume ainzi Woodrow Wilson. But point yakanyakosha yakataura ndekuti ngatimire ma-secret agreements. End of secret agreements. Number 2, akataura Lorraine must return back to France. Ndobva ati major powers, they must disarm. Akataura futi that same point. Another point, which is the last point yakataura yakuda kutaura zvayo, akataura iyo the establishments of the League of Nations. The League of Nations. Akati ngatite set up the League of Nations. Organization richapinda kusolve ama conflicts anoitika munyika, because achangoitika. But pane organization rinosolva maconflicts iwayo. Apedza akati iyi organization richabatsira vanotambudzika, richameka sure kuti vanhu vaite disarm, vaitawo disarm, richabatsirawo kuti izvi zvina point yekuti ausasendori, it must return back to France, yadzokerawo for sure kuFrance. Saka akati ngatisete inonzi the League of Nations. And now taura yese because akataura 14 points. So go and recite them. Right. The last person whatever zvake anonzi Lloyd George of Britain. This one, Lloyd George of Britain, anakamira nyika yeBritain ainzi Lloyd George. Lloyd George, he took a middle approach between Clemenceau's harsh punishment, harsh views, harsh terms towards Germany and the ideas of the idealist Ainzi Woodrow Wilson. So akatora a middle approach between Georges Clemenceau of France and Woodrow Wilson of USA. Saka aita rumo oba rumo aga support kumbicha oba support kumbicha aga support kumbicha oba support kumbicha. So he took a middle approach between Clemenceau of France and Woodrow Wilson of USA. I German, of course, was supposed to be punished, but not to the degree of Clemenceau, not to the level of Clemenceau. So I told him, no, kupanishwa German, punishwa, and German was responsible for the outbreak of the First World War, but tikanyanya kupa a harsh punishment to German. That is going to be the reason for German to seek a revenge, and another war will break out. Second one, German was supposed to be punished, but not to the degree of Georges Clemenceau. Akataura German to disarm, German to reduce the number of soldiers, and also other countries to disarm, and also akataura zvinhu zvakawanda. And another reason why akasingadi a harsh punishment to Germany, it was because during that time Germany was Britain's best trading partner. Saka zvaireva kuti kana Germany ikava weak economically, also Britain was going to be weak economically. That's why angasingadi a harsh punishment, though akawanda nepoint yekuti a harsh punishment to Germany will cause the outbreak of the Second World War, because Germany didn't have a reason to seek revenge. So are you following this? So these were the views of the big three, the perspectives, the opinions of the big three: France, Britain, and USA. Thank you so much for tuning in. On our next lesson, we are going to continue and we are going to talk about the terms of the Versailles Treaty. What do you think about the opinions of these great powers? Were their opinions fair to Germany? Because Versailles vari kutaura zvizhinji zvacho vanga vasingati zviitike kwavari, vaiti ngazviitike kuGermany. Imagine Georges Clemenceau of France, he mentioned something very, very terrible, very, very dangerous. He said Germany was supposed to pay for all the damages that took place during the First World War. And he said including loss of human life. What do you think about Clemenceau's approach during the Paris Peace Conference? Tell me what you think in the comment section.